Hi Aries, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your June 2026 tarot reading. Thanks to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, and subscribed to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, it's a 12 card spread with each card representing a different house of the zodiac. Starting with your sign, Aries, as the first house, all the way through to Pisces representing the 12th house. After we get through that main spread, we'll pull an oracle card as well with some additional insight. As far as the decks being used this month, for the main tarot deck, we have the UFO tarot. For the oracle deck, we'll be using the Wisdom Oracle. And we're actually going to start to bring off our roll notes astrology guys we have in front of us to get an idea of where your focus should be as far as that goes. Alright, we have Leo. So Leo is 5th house energy for you guys, and as far as some transits taking place there, we'll have Venus moving in there on the 13th of June, and then really it's more or less right at the very end of June, but we'll have Jupiter move into Leo on the 30th. 5th house in general points to romance, creativity, and children. Alright, well, speaking of Jupiter, we have Jupiter, so of course on the 30th it'll be moving into Leo like we said, but pretty much for the first 29 days of June, it'll still be wrapping up its transit through Cancer, and for you guys, that's your 4th house of home, roots, and family. Alright, and we have 6th house. So for you guys, that's Virgo. In general, 6th house points to health, work, and daily routines. Astrologically speaking, we do have the South Node wrapping up a transit through there. That should end toward the end of July, but that's really all that's going on there currently. But we'll keep all that in mind as we go through the main spread. In the 1st house of personality, self-awareness, and appearance, we have the Page of Swords. So seeing this here, I feel like this is saying either you might be communicating something that seems like a totally different brand new style of message to them, or vice versa. You might receive a message that might catch you off guard, that you feel like it could be eye-opening in some way. For some of you, it could be a message that's delivered through music as well, if we just take the artwork at face value. But yeah, either way, I feel like either you're exposing someone to a new way of thinking, or they're exposing you to a new way of thinking. For your 2nd house energy, pointing to possession, self-worth, and finances, we have the 5 of Pentacles. So primarily what I'm getting with this could just feel like you might feel like your money's here today, gone tomorrow, right? Now, I feel like it will replenish itself, but either way, right? So it's a matter of, I feel like you're not going to necessarily feel like you don't have the money. It's just more of, you feel like as soon as it gets here, it goes right back out the door and then repeat, right? So that could be how you're looking at your finances this month. Which, I mean, given the current state of things, not surprising. For your 3rd house energy of communication, short journeys, and siblings, we have the 6 of Wands. So I feel like this is saying that something you communicate this month might actually put you in the spotlight. Again, I feel like it won't be anything that you were expecting going into it. It could just be one of those things where you say something and it seems to catch a lot of people's attention. So now that I'm looking at this card, that takes me back to what I was saying in the 1st house energy for you guys. So it seems like you're more likely going to be the one who delivers a message that really resonates with people, but comes across unexpectedly. And I mean, that does make sense to an extent as far as, we're in Gemini season, and that is your 3rd house of communication. We have Uranus there as well, so could definitely be some things that are just lining up timing-wise for you to deliver this message this month. Alright, so for 4th house, which we saw the Jupiter symbolism as well, we have the Page of Pentacles. So certainly a bit more ominous artwork for this card at the very least, but more so what I'm getting with this, especially that 4th house does point to your roots, right? It could just be saying that maybe you're looking back on some things from the past, right, and realizing that maybe it's time to release some of those things, right? Maybe they were beliefs that you held on to for a while, and maybe you feel like they don't quite fit your life anymore. Or maybe there are just some things from your past that maybe you had to heal from that you haven't really looked at for whatever reason, and you could just be going through the process of doing that now. Alright, so for your 5th house energy, we have the Four of Swords. So this is really Libra energy here, but to see this, I feel like this is saying that maybe when you're interacting with people, so, given that one of the themes of fifth house could be romance, right? So just to give you a super basic example of how this could tangibly play out, let's just say you were trying to get on the dating scene, right? And you feel like everyone that's out there doesn't really catch your interest, right? You feel like, okay, there's no one really out there that I'm compatible with. So it could just be one of those things that makes you withdraw a little bit, right? Likewise, if you're working on some kind of creative project too, though, it could just be saying that what you're working on might be a bit off the beaten path to where some people might not expect it. So again, that could be tying into what we were already saying about the first house and third house energy. But either way, it looks like there's a bit of a split between you and then others in your environment. Doesn't necessarily seem to be bad though. All right, so for your sixth house energy, we have the Seven of Wands. So yeah, so sixth house in general pointing to health, work, daily routines, right? And if we just take this artwork a little bit more face value, it seems more like a work kind of thing, right? So what I'm getting with this could just be saying that, again, you might feel like you're putting a lot of energy into things, right? And being protective of them too. So if we think of this artwork, right, it looks like you might as well say that they're planting a lot of seeds, right? Knowing that, okay, I might not see them bear fruit today, right? But down the line, if I continue to take care of them, I will. So that could just be what you feel like you're doing in your day-to-day routine now, right? Where like, okay, there's not going to be instant gratification from what I'm working on, but I know over time it will pay off. All right, for your seventh house energy, which points to partnerships, contracts, relationships, we have the Four of Wands. So Aries energy here. So yeah, to see this come up, could just be saying that even if you feel like I said, a more the dating scene type of layer, if you feel like there's people you aren't necessarily compatible with, to see this show up in the seventh house to me says that you could be making a connection though where there will be that long-term potential, right? Where you could eventually end up moving in together, things along those lines there. Now, if this is more of a contractual thing as well, let's say if you're looking for a home, right? And maybe that's why we're seeing that card there, because you're digging through old stuff, getting ready to move. It could just be saying that that could go well for you guys this month too. All right, so for your eighth house, which is, well, quite a few different themes, but we have death, rebirth, intimacy, and investments. We have the Six of Pentacles. So yeah, so if this one, I feel like the Six of Pentacles in a lot of decks does point to more of a balanced energy, but with the artwork in this deck, it always makes me think of that other element of it, right? So even if you think about in traditional tarot with the Rider deck, you see this person with a scale, right? And they're giving some pentacles to people who look like they're, going through a rough time, right? So it's one of those things where someone might offer something to you, but, rather than just accepting it at face value, see if it really is as valuable to you as it is to them, right? Because it could be one of those things where you're trying to make it sound really good for you, but on the other side of that, they're the ones who are really benefiting even more from the situation. So again, doesn't necessarily mean you have to turn it down, but I do think that it would help you to at least think it through. And especially if they make it seem like, oh, if you don't jump on this opportunity now, it'll be gone, right? Things along those lines there that would usually be more of a sign of someone's trying to hide something. All right, so for your ninth house energy, pointing to philosophy, higher learning, and foreign affairs, we have the Five of Cups. So yeah, so this could just be saying that maybe as you're looking at your beliefs from the past, right? So that could be tying to what we were talking about with that fourth house energy there. Could just be saying that maybe you're realizing now that, okay, maybe beliefs that you did hold on to for some time, they don't seem to quite fit where you are in your life now, right? And you could be looking back on that maybe with some regret, right? Because maybe if you're, it's one of those things where if you, let's say if you feel like you learned some lessons the hard way, right? Then the natural inclination would be to look back on those times when you wish you'd known back then what you know now, right? But I think this is saying it was all meant to get you there. So, try not to be hard on yourselves in that regard. But yeah, at the very least, it looks like this is you looking at some beliefs that you've held for a while and possibly realizing that they just don't fit your life anymore. All right, so for your 10th house, which in general points to career and social status, we have the devil. So this is Capricorn energy here. And yeah, I feel like this is just saying that maybe on the one hand, you feel like you can't necessarily pull yourselves away from your work, right? There might be a part of you that would like to pull yourselves away from it, but easier said than done, right? And we can see how that could all tie into what we were saying. For example, with the second house energy, if you feel like, okay, as soon as my money comes in, it goes right back out the door, right? If you're doing work where like, okay, yeah, I know I'm planting the seeds here and it's going to eventually bear fruit right now, I can't see it, right? So it could just be one of those things where you just feel like, all right, you might want to break away from it for a bit, but also at the same time realizing that it's just not realistic at this time. All right, so for your 11th house energy, which in general points to friendships, groups, and hopes and wishes, we have the Nine of Swords. So yeah, so if we look at the artwork here, right, it looks like clearly they're in a state of relaxation and then getting quite an unexpected distraction, right? So this could just be saying that maybe when you're out with your friends, right, you might come across a unique experience that you weren't planning on. Doesn't necessarily have to be bad, but I feel like it will be memorable in some way. But yeah, that's primarily what I'm getting with that. Now, Nine of Swords can point to a level of anxiety and stress, but here's I just feel like it's just more one of those things that you guys will look back on like, wow, I remember that one time it was kind of crazy. But again, I don't think it's going to be harmful necessarily. All right, and for the 12th house, which in general points to spirituality, mental health, and blind spots, we have the King of Wands. So this is a Leo energy here. But for me, this could just be saying on one hand, given that the 12th house is a bit more of a hidden energy, more of things flowing through your mind versus things that you might outwardly express to others. Could just be saying on one hand, maybe you're being strategic, right, on how to elevate your status in some way. But for others, this could also just be saying it's the inner confidence that you have too, right? So even if the outer circumstances don't seem to validate the confidence you have, I feel like it's saying that at least you have that. And I would say in a healthy way too, by the way, not like an egomaniac kind of thing, but just more of knowing your worth in this context. All right. And bottom of the deck, we have the Two of Wands. So this is more Aries energy here. So yeah, this could definitely be saying that this could be what you guys are feeling for the most part. Um, I feel like it's a bit of an exploratory energy, but again, I feel like there's going to be some unexpected encounters for you guys this month. Like I said, for some of you, maybe it's going to be as simple as you hear music that's not something you normally would have crossed paths with, but it really seems to strike a chord with you, no pun intended, right? For others of you, this could just be saying when you're actually out and about, you might come across an unexpected experience that you hadn't planned on. But again, I feel like overall, for the majority, it will be a positive thing. It's just going to be a shock to the system in the moment. But I will see what the Oracle card adds to the mix. So just a few shuffles, and then we'll cut the deck and pull a card. Okay, we'll take this card, get this out of the way, and we'll see what you got. All right, we have Yang. There's the artwork, and the number is 1. So yeah, this definitely has that Aries type energy feel to it, but we'll see what it says in the book. All right, essential meanings says the masculine principle of movement and creative activity, the power to make things happen, taking action. The oracle's message: Yang represents the power of action, the energies that propel the world forward and manifesting thought and desire into concrete form. Now is the perfect time to act, for you can easily build momentum and make headway. What you want will come to fruition if you proceed confidently. This card signifies new life and is a sure sign that obstacles have been overcome. There is no reason to hesitate. You are the shaper of your destiny now. So yeah, definitely an interesting message there, especially because I do see a bit of an energy of exploration between the Page of Swords energy in the first house, and then like we talked about with the Two of Wands at the bottom of the deck too. So maybe there is the energy of you wanting to do something a little bit differently this month. The relationship message says circumstances are supporting action on your part. It's okay to make the first move. Trust that you will quickly know where you stand. In matters of the heart, there is movement toward your highest good, so go forth with assurance. Passion is in the air, and now is the time to dance to the tune of love. Take the lead. So yeah, like I said, it seems like when it came to fifth house energy, it looks like you might feel like there isn't necessarily anyone that seems to be compatible with you. But like I said, you could also be crossing paths with someone where you feel like, okay, you could actually build a foundation there. So maybe the difference is, maybe it's more of the people who come toward you that you seem to not have a compatibility with, and that could be why it's saying, but if you do see someone that catches your eye, then it might just be on you to be proactive in pursuing them. All right. And the prosperity message says projects, partnerships, and all matters relating to your business are out of the obstacle phase and on to the make it happen phase. Now is the time to stake your claim and get things done. While you can expect to be busier than usual, this card tells you that you have all the energy and vitality you need to accomplish your goals. Abundance is waiting for you to claim it. So yeah, definitely a positive message there as well, and that seems to align with what we were talking about with the sixth house energy, right? Where, like I said, you might feel like you're putting in the work, you're not getting the instant gratification from it, but you might start to see signs that okay, in the long run it will pay off. So that seems to align with that for the most part as well. But yeah, hope it resonated with you guys, and we'll wrap up there. All right, bye.